Hello, juniors. This is Mr. Brish, your counselor, and today we're going to talk a little bit about financial planning and what that means for college. So let's start with in-state and out-of-state tuition. If you're in-state, you pay taxes in the state, and some of that taxes goes to colleges in the state, and so you get a discount rate for going to college in the state. If you go to California or Texas or any other place outside of Colorado, you could be charged 2 to 5 times more than in-state schools. If you're undocumented, though, you can get in-state tuition to Colorado colleges if you go to high school for 3 years and if you graduate or you get a GED. So you still can get in-state tuition even if you're undocumented. You can, though, go out of state by participating in things like exchanges. For instance, the Western Undergraduate Exchange here can allow you to go to Hawaii or University of Wyoming or California or Arizona or all kinds of different places. For instance, at my college that I went to, UNC, go Bears, it's right there, go Bears. Um, we had a huge exchange with University of Hawaii. So we had some students that came here from Hawaii. I had a roommate who was here for 3 years. So it's not even like necessarily a short stay. It could be kind of a longer stay. And then we sent students from UNC back to Hawaii, and they just kind of exchanged for, however long the students wanted to stay. So you can do that, but you have to start off at your in-state college first, and then they have a list of colleges that they exchange with, and then you can apply to go to college out of state. I even had a student who went to Denver University, DU, and he got to spend a semester in Oxford in England. So you can even go out of the country. That'd be pretty cool, right? You can also, while you're in high school, earn college credit in one of two ways. You can go to Pickens Technical College, and basically you would be doing, they have like morning blocks of time and afternoon blocks of time. So you would be going in the morning. You would be there for 3 credit hours. Most of the time it's elective credit. Some of the time they give English or math credit too, depending on the class and that sort of thing. But so you go there for 3 hours in the morning, let's say, and then you come to APS Online in the afternoon for 3 hours, let's say. So that you have 6 hours total, right? Just like you had 6 classes, but 3 of them are going to be at Pickens Technical College. They have 40 different programs, a bunch of really cool stuff that is all hands-on and interesting, and it may lead you right into a career too. They give certificates there, not degrees like a community college would, but it makes you a lot more employable. For instance, last couple of people we had go through cosmetology and through auto tech, they had a bunch of job offers ready for them when they had finished. You could also go to the Community College of Aurora and take college classes here. Um, and the APS will pay for most of your tuition. You would still have to pay for books, but that's really all you have to pay for. So it cuts out a whole lot of money. We'll kind of talk about money here in a second, about how much it would cost. Um, so you can save yourself a lot of money. You could even, if you plan it right, start as a freshman or sophomore in CCA and then graduate with an associate's degree. So you guys are juniors now, so you may not have started early enough, but if you didn't start early enough at CCA, you could do the Ascent program, which is a program that if you earn 12 college credits at CCA, or if you go to Pickens for a year and you get decent grades at both places, you could go for an extra year for free. So it's a really cool program, but you have to have, kind of gotten your feet wet either in the community college system or at Pickens Technical College. And that's where you want to see me for more details if you're interested in doing it. There are quite a few college costs. We're going to look at college costs as a big lump sum here, but if you break down the lump sum, there's tuition, which is the cost of the actual courses themselves. Then there's room and board. So a lot of freshmen who go to a typical 4-year college are going to have to live on campus in dorm rooms. And it's a really interesting experience because you're there with a bunch of other people who are there too, and they don't necessarily have a bunch of friends who went to the same college. So you might, all be there and not knowing anybody together. So you become really fast friends with a whole bunch of people, with your roommates, with the people on your floor, the people in your dorm room, or in your dorm hall, your residence hall. So it's a really interesting experience. And they want freshmen to have that experience, which is why they make freshmen stay in the dorms for a year a lot of times. So there's tuition and room and board. Then there's fees that are associated with the libraries, with the athletic facilities. But the cool part about that is that the library is got state-of-the-art technology and a bunch of probably really cool old artifacts too, if you're into history and that sort of thing. And the athletic facility, when the football team isn't using the gym, you get to go in and use the weights, and if the diving team is not using the pool, you can go swim laps in an Olympic-sized pool. So they have some really cool facilities there that you can take advantage of for the fees that they charge. Then there is books, so you can't forget books, right? So they can cost anywhere from $1,000 to a couple grand, which is a lot of money for books, but you have to pay because you got to read those books in order to learn those lessons in order to pass the classes in college. So here's what I'm talking about with the lump sum kind of idea here. We're comparing different levels of colleges and different degrees with their costs in-state and out-of-state. So let's start with career and technical colleges like Pickens Tech. They give certificates, like I said before. The average is about $3,000. Pickens is a little cheaper than this, so yay Pickens. But if you're an out-of-state student and you come to Pickens, we're talking double the price, right? If it's a public community college, like the Community College of Aurora, they give certificates and associate degrees. So they kind of mostly give associate degrees, 2-year degrees, but they do have some certificate programs too, like Pickens does. And here's their estimated cost of in-state tuition. Notice over here though that it's almost triple if it's out of state. And then there's public 4-year universities. We're talking University of Northern Colorado. Go Bears. There's Metro, also right behind me, other side, Metro. There's CU, there's CSU, there's the University of Colorado at Denver, there's the University of Colorado at Colorado Springs. There's a whole bunch of colleges in the state. They give bachelor's degrees all the way up to doctorate degrees, but they're known as 4-year public colleges because most people get their bachelor's there. The average price, $18,000. Look at the out-of-state price, a little more than double. Then there's private colleges. These are like Denver University or Regis. They also give bachelor's degrees, but you can compare the prices here. They're a lot pricier, aren't they? They don't care if you're in-state or out-of-state. They charge one flat rate. They don't get tax money to make their school run, to help their school programs run, so they totally rely on tuition, which means they're going to charge you more. Interestingly, though, in private colleges here, they give more scholarships than public schools. Quite wealthy people graduate from here, so a lot of them give their money back to the schools, and that becomes scholarships. It may not be enough. Say you got a $20,000 scholarship for DU, and it costs $40,000. You still have $20,000 left to pay, so it's still less expensive to go to your average public 4-year college than it would be to go to DU, let's say, with half a ride, with half a scholarship. There's also the proprietary colleges. That means for profit, which means they're making money off of your tuition. So they're charging you $15,000 for a certificate, or they're charging you $35,000 for a 4-year degree. So you can see the difference in price, but they're designed to make money off of you. This is a pretty good warning, though. Credits do not necessarily transfer to other colleges, so you must be careful if you decide to go to a for-profit college. I would warn against going to a for-profit college. I'm kind of biased. I think that colleges should not be making money off of you, your parents, maybe, if your parents are helping you pay for college, grandparents, or whoever might be helping you pay for college. But that's my bias. Some people, want to go to, a for-profit college because, they see their ads on TV and they think that's a good idea. So, you really have to find the college that's right for you. So keep that in mind. Let's talk about financial aid next. The idea here is to get as much of your college paid for as possible. It's always free, so you should never pay for financial aid. Financial aid should always be free. There's different types of financial aid you can get, though. The first is scholarships, which you don't need to pay back, but you generally need to meet some criteria. We'll talk about that in a little more detail in a minute or two, but for scholarships, you have to usually do something in order to get them. They don't just like fall in your lap. Then there are grants, which you don't need to pay back, and these are basically just free money. So the good part about it is that the government will give you money to go to college sometimes. Sometimes they'll give you money to go and become a specific occupation. Like if they need nurses and a lot of nurses are retiring and so they need more nurses, they're going to offer grants to go to nursing school. So you don't need to pay them back, and you don't need to go through the same process as you would for scholarships a lot of times. A lot of times you just have to fill out your FAFSA, which we'll talk about in a little bit too. So a little bit easier to get sometimes. Then there's the work study grant, which is a kind of grant that is really nice because the work study program will work around your college schedule, which you can't say for most other workplaces. So they'll work around your college schedule and set you up with a job on campus. Usually a pretty interesting and relatively easy job that you get to do, and it'll pay for, say, your room and board, so like half of your college bill. If whatever you don't pay for in scholarships, in grants, and in the work study stuff, you can get in loans. I know a lot of you freak out when I mention loans because you don't want to be in debt, which is good. I don't want you to be in debt either. But it might be worth it to invest in yourself a little bit, and I'll show you why kind of at the end. But you do need to pay these ones back, the loans, and paying it back starts 6 months after you graduate. So they give you 6 months to find a house, buy a car, get a dog, whatever you're going to do right after you graduate and get your first awesome job. Then they make you pay it back 6 months after that. In order to get any of these things, scholarships, grants, work study, loans, any kind of financial aid, you have to do the FAFSA, which stands for the Free Application for Federal Student Aid. Never pay, notice the first word is free, so it's free, never pay for the FAFSA. It's the Free Application for Federal Student Aid. Everyone's going to be applying for financial aid who's going to college, so it definitely pays to make sure that you do it as soon as possible. So it's going to open next year for you in October of your senior year, and you want to get in there right away as soon as possible. They have a huge pot of money, and you want to get as much of that money as possible. When the money runs out, the money runs out. And so since everybody has to fill out the FAFSA anyway, you might as well do it as soon as possible and be sure that you're getting however many dollars in grant money you can get, right? In order to do this, right at the beginning of next year, you're going to hear me announcing this to the seniors all the time, and that is going to be you next year. You're going to need your Social Security number, the colleges you plan to attend, both biological parent Social Security numbers, and tax returns. So you're going to need some things in order for us to do this. You can sit down with me. Sometimes the students want to do that, which is totally fine. We need some information first before we do that. Sometimes students want parents to be there, which is great. We'll do that all together. Sometimes you just want to kind of do it with parents by yourself and then have me kind of look it over or answer questions, and that's totally fine too. Whichever way you want to do the FAFSA is totally fine by me. If you right now, since you're just a junior and you're not quite a senior yet, you could try to see how much you're going to get from the FAFSA by using the FAFSA forecaster. So if you click on this link here, you'll see you're watching this video right now. So if you look down the screen in Schoology, you'll see an example of this PowerPoint. If you just click on the link, it'll take you right to there. Or if you cut and paste it or whatever the case is, it'll take you right to the FAFSA forecaster. Or you could just look it up. Look up the FAFSA forecaster. And you can figure out how much money you're going to possibly get in the FAFSA right now. Once you do the FAFSA, the real FAFSA, not the FAFSA forecaster, once you do the FAFSA, you will get financial aid, and you'll get a letter that kind of details all of the things that you're going to get in financial aid. Your loans, your grants, your scholarships, your work study, college opportunity fund, that's what the COF is, any savings you have, all that stuff it'll take into account, and it'll tell you what kind of financial aid is available to you. This is what you need for scholarships. Okay. When you're a senior, you're going to be checking the scholarship list in Naviance. You're going to be checking out my scholarship folder in the counseling ICAP section. ICAP 12 will have a scholarship folder, and it will have all the scholarships that I know about, that I get emails from, and it will have some scholarship websites that you can go to that will send you emails about scholarships that you qualify for. In order to set yourself up for scholarships, though, you want to make sure that you're doing community service. You want to have a GPA of 3.0 or better. It's a good goal to have. You should try your hardest on the SAT or ACT. This year for juniors, for you guys, it's going to be the SAT. And then try out for athletics if you're into sports. Join a club, join an activity. We have lots of clubs and activities here at APS Online for you to join as well. You get a job, that kind of shows you're responsible. If you have a particular religious affiliation, you can use that to get scholarships. Some religions have specific scholarships for you, and others do not. When you are accepted into college, the college financial aid office is going to help you find specific ones that relate just to that college. So you'll make an appointment with a college counselor, and they're going to talk you through what financial aid is available from that particular school. There are different kinds of student loans you can get. You can get guaranteed student loans, or what are called Stafford loans. You can get PLUS loans for parents. Parents can get these. You can get direct student loans, Perkins loans. One of the questions in this survey we're going to take right after this is, what is the kind of loan that the government pays the interest on? And that is subsidized right here. So it's definitely to your benefit to try and get subsidized loans, because the government will pay the interest while you're still in school. Those are the best kind of loans to get if you're a student in college. And like I said before, they'll give you 6 months to repay your subsidized or unsubsidized loans after you are done with school. So this could mean that you have dropped out of college. You still have to pay back your student loans. So it definitely, and I'll show you in a few minutes why, it definitely pays to graduate college if you start going to college. I'll show you why in a little bit here. Your parents, though, can get PLUS loans if they desire to maybe offset some of the costs and help you pay for it. You can get direct loans as well. And direct loans are good because they give you a little bit longer sometimes to start the repayment process. But all student loans have to be repaid. That's the main thing about student loans. Here's what the FAFSA page looks like when you start doing this. So next October, you're going to get really familiar with this. And you're going to apply for a PIN. You're going to get a FSA PIN, and then you're going to use that to apply for the FAFSA itself. You can, like I said before, kind of figure out how much college is going to cost you. You can use the FAFSA forecaster to figure out how much money the government might give you in loans and scholarships and that sort of thing. You can use this net price calculator in order to figure out how much each school is going to cost you. Every college has a net price calculator, so if you just Google the college name and net price calculator, it'll pull up a page for them, and you just have to enter some information, like your age, whether you're going to live on campus or not, if you have any kids, how many people are in your family, what the income is for your family, and then what it'll spit out is the estimated tuition and fees, and it'll add it all up for you and tell you how much the college is going to cost you. And it might also tell you a little bit about how much grant money you might be able to get. And then if you remember, grant money is free money, so since they give you that much, there'll be a little bit left over. And this will be the estimated net price after everything else, after grants and everything else. So then this is what you're looking for to find in scholarships and loans. This is why it might pay for you to get a loan and go to college. At the bottom, we have how much money a high school dropout makes a week. It's about 500 bucks. For graduating high school, then you're up to $680 a week, roughly. If you have some college, so if you go to Pickens, or if you start at CCA and take some classes, but maybe not finish your associate's degree, you get about $738. If you get an associate's degree, we're around $800 now. So that's a 2-year degree, remember. If you get a bachelor's degree, 4-year degree, look how much it jumps up. We're into the 1100 range now. A master's degree is usually 6 years. So a master's degree, you jump up a little bit more. Right now we're at 1300, more than 1300 a week. Then if you get a doctoral degree or professional degree is basically a doctorate with some internship involved. We're talking doctors and lawyers, that sort of thing. They don't want you just to go operate on somebody right out of med school. You know, they want you to learn about how to do it, maybe assist for a while, and generally gradually take over. So there's some internship involved, but look how much they get paid per week. This is weekly, people. And then there's a doctoral degree, a PhD. This is like 8 years of college. You can see on this side the unemployment rate. So generally speaking, the trend goes if you have more education, you make more money, and you have a lower unemployment rate. There's always going to be some unemployment because there's always going to be people moving or people looking for a different job because they don't like their current job. So there'll always be some unemployment rate, but you want the unemployment rate to be as low as possible so that you can make sure that you have a job. If you want to see how much money you might make in yearly earnings, if you're a yearly kind of person, if you have some high school, we're talking $25,000. If we're talking a high school diploma, we're in the 35 range. If we're talking some college, bumps up a little bit more. If we have an associate's degree, we've crossed that $40,000 threshold. If we have a bachelor's degree, we're almost to 60. I think now actually we might be into the like $64,000 range for bachelor's degrees. So, we might be somewhere in this category now. This info is a year or two old. And then there's master's degrees, right? 6-year degrees, close to 70 now. And then the doctorates and the professional degrees, the 8+s, are up here. But look how much money they make. So you have a lot more earning power, and you're going to have a lot more comfortable of a life if you're somewhere up in this general vicinity, a 4-year degree or better. So that may be why it pays to take out a loan. If you're making this much more money than an associate's degree, maybe it's worth it to have a loan that you pay a couple $100 a month on because you're making so much more a week, a month, a year, right? So this is why it might pay to invest in yourself. All right, guys, now it's time to do the survey. So take a look below the video here in Schoology, and you'll see instructions on how to complete the survey. You can also check out the PowerPoint down there below too if you want to see all the slides, if you want to go over it more slowly, if you want to show it to your parents or to friends, you definitely can. All this information is out there for anybody to use, right? So when you need me, you know where to find me. Go to counseling. In the bottom left-hand corner of the page, you'll see my contact info. So that then we can make an appointment, we can talk, or you can just say hey when you're in the lab next time. You can always call or text as well. All right, well, have a good time, guys, and I hope you learned a lot about college and how much money it will cost to go to college. All right, guys, take care, and we'll see you around in class.